rightful place as the economic engine of this great
Newly
country.
elected Ontario Premier Doug Ford will meet with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau today, with Ford's scrapping of the cap and trade at the forefront. Is this the new summer of the gun? Humber News takes a look at rising gun violence levels in Toronto. The Royal Ontario Museum's new exhibit on spiders seeks to shed light on the arachnids to children and adults alike. Humber News starts now. Hi, and welcome to Humber News. I'm Michelle Neha, coming to you from our newsroom here at Humber College North Campus. It's July 5th. Here's what's making news. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is in Toronto today meeting with new Conservative Premier Doug Ford. Top of the agenda for discussion would be the cap and trade program. Doug Ford vowed as his first act as Premier to scrap the cap and trade program that the former provincial Liberal government has put in place. He has provided no details as of yet, but says he plans to join Saskatchewan in challenging the federal government's power to impose a carbon tax on the provinces. Trudeau and his Environmental Minister, Catherine McKenna, said they look forward to working with Ontario on this issue. Meanwhile, the Canadian government is investigating a matter in which U.S. Border Patrol questioned Canadian fishermen in the Gulf of Maine last week. The incident happened close to the Machias Seal Island, a part of Canadian territory. John Babcock, Speaker for the Global Affairs Canada, said Canada continues to investigate these incidents that occurred in Canadian waters through engaging with U.S. agencies involved in the matter. The fishermen were part of the Grand Mana Fishermen Association. Its chairperson, Lawrence Cook, released a statement saying the Border Patrol was looking for illegal immigrants. Details of the investigation are expected to be released soon. After the U.S. announced it'll impose additional tariffs on Chinese products, China says it's ready to strike back. Today's China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesperson Lu Kang said the country is prepared to retaliate. President Trump's first tariffs would hit $34 billion worth of Chinese products this week. Beijing plans to fire back with tariffs on the same amount of goods. Markets fear this would create a trade war between the world's two largest economies. Liu said the U.S. knows China doesn't want a trade war because it would hurt every country's industry and consumers. Trump has previously argued the tariffs are necessary to pressure China into abandoning unfair practices. Earlier this week, China's Ministry of Commerce spokesperson said the U.S. is firing shots at the whole world, including itself. Thai rescuers are still trying to save 12 boys and their coach who have been trapped in a cave for the past 12 days. The 13 of them were exploring the Tham Lung Nang cave but were trapped when heavy rain flooded the cavern. With more rain in the forecast, rescuers are pumping out water from the cave. One of the firefighters said the chamber that leads to the part of the cave is still heavily flooded up to the ceiling. Chiang Rai Provincial Government Narongsak Oskatana Korn asked the Thai Navy SEALs to prepare 13 sets of diving equipment to be checked and placed inside the cave in case diving out is the only option left. Officials say they are trying to get a team out as soon as possible before it rains again on Saturday, which would increase the flooding. The United Kingdom called on Russia to share more details on the Novichok agent attack after 2 people are in critical condition from the poison. Last Saturday, 2 British citizens fell ill after an apparent chance encounter with the same poison. It happened in Amesbury, located 7 miles north of Salisbury, where the former double agent Sergei Skripal and his daughter were found unconscious on a bench in March. Don Sturgis and Charlie Rowell were initially thought to have taken an overdose of heroin or crack cocaine, but tests showed they had been exposed to Novichok, the nerve agent developed by the Soviet military during the Cold War. It is unclear how the two came into contact with the poison. Their background has nothing to suggest a link to the espionage world or the former Soviet Union. The UK accused Russia of poisoning them, but Russia has denied any involvement in the March incident and suggests the British Security Service had carried out the attack to stoke anti-Moscow hysteria. According to specialists, Novichok nerve agents were designed to be quite persistent and do not decompose quickly. Health chiefs said the risk to public was low, but they have advised everyone to wash their clothes and use cleansing wipes on personal items. A 45-year-old woman in New York is due to be arraigned in federal court today after she scaled the Statue of Liberty stone pedestal on Wednesday. Teresa Patricia Okomo of Staten Island is charged with trespassing, disorderly conduct, and interference with government administration and is being held by the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Television images show officers outfitted in harness and rope approaching Okomoa and grabbing her as she clung to the sloping slide of the statue near the right foot. The 3-hour standoff that led to an evacuation at the New York Harbor landmark on Independence Day ended after she was held and lowered by police officers. An activist group called Rise and Resist said on Facebook that Okomo was part of a 4th of July protest at the base of the statue. They had unfurled a banner that read "Abolish ICE" against Trump's immigration policy. Search and rescue crews have recovered the body of 3 people who were missing on Tuesday in Shannon Falls near Squamish, British Columbia. The identities of Riker Gamble, Alexa Laika, and Megan Scraper have been confirmed by the RCMP. Their bodies was discovered in the third of a series of pools located near the top of the falls. The area can only be accessed by ropes and is known to be extremely dangerous. Riker Gamble was known for his life on the edge lifestyle, which he documented on the popular YouTube channel High on Life. The vlogger made headlines in 2016 after participating in an out-of-bounds excursion in Yellowstone National Park. Gamble was ordered to pay fines and spent a week in jail after the incident. Closer to home, Toronto has seen a drastic increase in gun violence this year. With more on the story, here's Humber's own Michael Furtado. The Bruce McArthur investigation continues as Toronto police have uncovered more human remains near the back of a East York home today. Bags were previously seen being loaded into a coroner's van where they were taken to undergo testing. Toronto police hope the search would be the last at the Mallory Crescent property.
Well, we're still working on the cold cases that I've talked about before. That work is not complete yet, but hopefully this will be the end of the...
Previously, the remains of the 7 men were found in garden plants at the same location, but Majid Kahan's remains are yet to be identified. The ROM has a new exhibit on display featuring 8-legged creepy crawlers. Matthew Frank has the story.
The Royal Ontario Museum is getting creepy and crawly with their new exhibit, Spiders, Fear and Fascination. Spiders, which have been around longer than dinosaurs, have faced many misconceptions, but have helped create some pretty amazing things. One of the most noteworthy is the golden spider silk cloth, made from the silk of around 1 million golden orb weaver spiders.
And so our job is to educate people generally about insects and their relatives, and very few things are more fascinating than spiders, so that was definitely something that we wanted to highlight here.
Throughout my work here, the spider will slowly wake up, so I have to be fast. We will try to get the views for you guys, but if the spider wakes up really quickly, we might have to stop, so we'll see how that goes. So far so good. I assure you that it's very much alive, it's just sleeping. Some components of spider venom are being used as painkillers. Others are being used to alleviate the effects of stroke. And there are many other purposes. It's a little bit on the low profile because it's still on research. Not a lot of it is out there and published. You can understand that some of these companies, they want to patent it, some of the uses. But there's definitely research going on, and there is high potential to these compounds.
Hey.
We're getting a little bit of venom. I hope you can see.
So did you come out of here learning a lot? Then you possibly knew before?
More of having fun.
Were you fearful of spiders before coming here?
Not really, no. So-so.
So you really enjoyed it then?
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice.
The Royal Ontario Museum really seems to be weaving a picture of what visitors can come to expect at this year's exhibit, which runs until January of next year, where visitors can come to be amazed and maybe even leave with something a little more. For Humber News, this is Matthew Frank.
In the entertainment world, comedian Sacha Baron Cohen teased a Trump-related project on Twitter last night, citing the video as a message from your president on Independence Day.
Disgraceful. He ought to be fired immediately. Sacha Baron Cohen, go to school, learn about being funny. You don't know.
Cohen and Trump have a tumultuous relationship following an interview for Cohen's satirical series, The Ali G Show. In 2003, Trump walked out of the interview once he realized it was a joke. Both have since shot fire at each other, with Trump criticizing Cohen's comedy, saying he wished he had been punched in the face so many times. Cohen in turn used Trump as a butt of one of his jokes in the 2016 film The Brother Grimsby. Cohen arrived at the premiere during Trump's campaign wearing a ironic "Make America Great Again" hat with a fake gun and beer in hand. When we come back, we'll tell you what's happening in the world of sports, and Celeste will have your three-day forecast. The Maple Leafs made a big splash in this year's free agency. For everything that's happening in the world of sports, here's our resident sports guru, Scott Savard. The annual Nathan's 4th of July eating contest has a winner. The hot dog legend Joey Joss Chestnut broke another record at the famous Nathan's 4th of July hot dog eating contest this week. Chestnut ate a total of 74 wieners in 10 minutes and bested last year's record of 72 hot dogs. This is the 11th time Chestnut wins on Coney Island in New York City. After eating the 74 dogs, Chestnut said, "It was a beautiful day. I love to eat and try to enjoy the food." And today we leave you with this. Limbani the chimpanzee has been reunited with the couple who helped raise him. Limbani was born with pneumonia and was rejected by his mother. Without human intervention, he wouldn't be here today. The animal's reunion was filmed at the Zoological Wildlife Foundation in Miami, Florida. That's all for today. For details of the story and more, check out humbernews.ca. Humber News is written and produced by the students in the journalism program at Humber's North Campus. I'm Michelle Neha. Thank you for joining us.